All right, I've put the rails back on and put the motor and the motor pulley that would drive the belt on the motor side. As you can see on the other end, I have my idler pulley. I'm trying to use this angle to show you the alignment. Hopefully, I don't know how well this works out. If you look at these two rails, you can see how they line up going all the way across from here. So if we use that as a gauge for this coming across and as a gauge down at the bottom, you can see, and it's not really an optical illusion, and I know it does look like it, that this one, it's much lower than this one. And actually, I've seen it in measurements, and you won't be able to see it all the way down there. But if I was to put this here, this is almost to 2.5 down on the bottom. And again, I don't think you'll be able to see this. It's about 1.5. Let's see if I move this over a little bit. So 1.5 down there. So there's about a 1 centimeter difference between the two. So what that tells me is I will need to take off the stepper. I only have 2 screws on it. Take out the 2 screws on top and move this down about 1 centimeter down in order to get it to line up with the other side. I may need to keep adjusting it later on, but again, that was the point of having the 2 screws on each side. And this is as far down as it can go. So again, I'm just going to take up the stepper and take out 2 screws and move it about 1 centimeter down to try to line this up in the same manner as the outside. One way that you can use this to measure is if you look at the distance between the front tube and the bottom of the idler pulley, for the most part, you should have about the same distance from here to the bottom. So technically, if we're looking at this, let me try to use something thinner to point with. The distance between this idler pulley top part right here and this part down here is very close to the distance down here. Sorry, I hit the camera. So technically, I need to line up the bottom of this pulley to the top of this bar. So again, I'll pull this apart and show you the difference. Alright, so as you can see, I've taken out the stepper motor, taken out the top screws, and moved the bracket down. So I'm doing this without tying it so you can see the difference. So it's hard to tell from this angling, so I'm just going to try to move this a little bit. You can see the difference between the top of this and the bottom of my bar. At least I hope you can see it. Give me 1 second. I'll try to read. Okay, here we go. So you can see the difference here of the bottom of my pulley right here is almost lined up with this here, and it's very similar to what's happening down there. Let me see if I can zoom in here while holding this in. I'm not sure how this is going to work out here. And ignore that X. So if we're looking at this, I realize from this angle it doesn't do it justice, but again, we're looking for the measurement distances. So let me put on the screws on the stepper and try to change the angle. Okay, so this is the best angle that I can give you. Again, it doesn't do it justice, but from measurements, the one on the bottom, the top of the pulley was about 1.5. You can see here, at least I hope you can, it's about 1.5. I may need to adjust this slightly, but again, any micro adjustments that I need to do, I could do it by loosening these 2 screws and moving this pulley up and down slightly. I can also, if I needed to, down at the bottom, add a few washers if I needed to bring it higher or lower. I won't know how much I need to adjust it until I'm actually putting on the belt. And you may have similar situation. You just basically want your belt to be straight. You don't want to see any warping on it. Okay, so I have the front pulley, the rear stepper with the pulley on. As you can see, they're pretty straight, lined up with the side beams. So I'm going to continue on. The next video that you will likely see is the plates being put on that go on the right side and the left side. I'm going to assemble those, and with the bearing blocks on there. And then after that, we'll go the center plate. That's going to have the extruder head.